Hi everyone. Today we are doing our sorry, I'm playing with lighting and that, trying to figure out what's a better way to put lights on this, but I'm struggling a bit with it, so that's all right. I think it's going to be light enough. So welcome along today's Tuesday chat, where we've been doing a Christmas themed drawing each week. So we started last week with the Christmas bauble, and this week we're doing this little cutie right here. I keep calling it a Christmas tree pine cone because it looks like it reminds me of a pine cone, these bits sticking out, so I think that's kind of what it is, but it's a little Christmas tree and the little hat on top. So hopefully some of you guys will be drawing along with me. If not, don't worry, because the recordings to all of these, there's going to be 3 of them, so next Tuesday I'm doing another one. So all 3 of these recordings will be available for free in my Facebook group, if you're already, depending where you're watching this from. So it'll be in my Facebook group, which is called Drawing Wildlife and Nature Beginners to Advanced. It'll be here on my main Facebook page, and they'll be pinned to the top until the last day of December, and I've also been posting them up in YouTube as well. But the end of December they'll all come down, but if you're in my premium or essentials tier of my online art membership, then they'll be in there for forever. So not a problem if you can't make the lives. There's plenty of opportunity to be able to catch up later on. Now I've got I'm trying to catch up, see comments, so it's a bit hard when I'm on my phone, sorry. I see Helene has said hello, and Di's here as well, awesome. The other thing as well, I've just added, I was in the middle of doing it, so I think I've got it set up. When I get off of here, I'll muck around with it a bit more and make sure I've got all the pages set up for it. But I've just added to the essentials tier of the Creative Barn a 6-month option. So 6 months would be $90 US, which I haven't checked how much that is, but I'm guessing $90 US would probably be around $130, something like that. I think I'll check it afterwards anyway, but I just thought a 6-month option might be a really great idea for a Christmas present if you're stuck for ideas for someone, and you know, I know it's getting close to Christmas, but this is an instant thing. So if you were thinking of a gift for a friend of an online art membership, then definitely message me. I can send you out a gift card by email. But yeah, I added that 6-month option to the essentials tier. So the monthly option is $19 US. The 6-month option is $90 US for the 6 months. And then the 12-month subscription is the cheapest, and that's $170 US. So breaking it down, I know that yearly one works out about $14 a month US. So very affordable, and plenty of tutorials in there. So, but yeah, like I said, if you want to give a gift certificate, let me know and I'll make one up for you and send it out. All right. So the link is also in the comments to the essentials tier. So hopefully I've got it set up all right. But I'll get back on and keep mucking around with it when I finish here. Okay, so last week I thought I'd have the drawing done in an hour, and it actually took 2 hours. So bear with me if it goes over the hour. I'll just keep going till it's done. I think this one might be a bit quicker, but I'm always wrong. We just did this in the membership, in the premium tier draw along, this snake here. and it was just a snake head, so I thought our draw-alongs are always 2 hours, so I thought, oh yeah, for sure, we'll get that done. And no, we didn't get done. So it actually took 3 hours to draw that snake. So anyway, all right, I've picked out my colours that I think I'm going to use today. Afterwards, I haven't like got a list for you at the moment, of course, but afterwards I will do an equipment list, so anyone watching the recording, the list will be there and you'll be able to see what colours I've used. So all right, let me flip this camera around. Okay. All right, so I'll start out wide, a bit wide, so I've got lights everywhere, I'm trying to move them around, just so you can see the background that I'm going to do. All right, I think that's wide enough. Yep, okay. All right, hopefully that is all right. Let me just get this set up on my computer just so I can make sure I can, like, I'm in shot and everything. Also, let me know if I've got the air conditioner on because it's a bit hot in my garage. So let me know if it's too noisy and I'll turn it off. Just setting it up over here on my computer, just so I can see all the comments. It's a soothing hum. Alright, so in other words, it's kind of noisy, but as long as you can hear me over the top, it's all good. Okay. Alright, I'm probably coming a bit closer now, looking at this on the computer. Has anyone else dropped out? Oh, hopefully you haven't all dropped out on me. Alright, sorry, I'm still trying to get this in the right order. Okay. Yep, okay. I think I'm good to go. All good. All right. Glasses on. Okay, so background first. So I especially need the background done on this one because you can see in the little hat, the little bits of white fluff come over the background. So that's the same as if we were doing fur. You'd need to get that background in first. Okay, and also some of these little bits of snow on here, I think we need that background done. Okay, so I'm going to do the background and then we'll do the little tree. And then this, we'll just add a little bit of detail to the front of the ground there, just to plant it so it's not all blurry. Okay, so let's start with the background. I've grabbed a few browns and that. So what I'm going to do, let's start with our lighter colours. So essentially you've just got to have a grey. So I want to just do grey all the way. There is a little blob of green. You don't have to have that, but I quite like it. So I'm going to put a touch of green there, and I actually decided to balance that. I would put a touch of green up the top. I could bring green over the top of the grey, but by doing that it would make the green not as bright, so that's why I thought I'd get a bit of green in there first. And put grey all the way along here. sort of comes up about to there. I'm trying to get fairly close to the edge here, but I can fix that with my stick, my blender. Okay, a bit of grey. What else did I see here? Felt. We've got some creams happening, so I'm going to put some cream sort of up in there. And maybe we'll add a bit of cream in here. Doesn't have to be exactly the same colour background. You can make it whatever you want. And then I got a bit of brown. Sort of about to there. In there, maybe a bit more cream. Okay, and then up the top is really dark, but I thought I'll do that later. I'll just get this in first. So I'm going to lightly blend my lightest colour first with my sponge tool. So my pastel sticks are a few different brands there. I put my sticks all together a lot of times into just like colour coordinated box. So I don't know what brands they are. There'll be Schminky, there'll be Senelia probably, there'll be maybe Unison, quite a few different ones. So I'm just gonna blend these together because at the background we want, you can see it's very soft and blurry, so we want to do that. Some more cream in here. I'm not sure what brand this cream is, it's a little bit hard, so it's not a Schminky, that's for sure. Where it's we're still using these creams. And blend that into the green. Trying to keep my hand out the way. If you've got an area you think you're pretty happy with, I usually just run over it with my finger. It just seems to like blend it out a bit better. Okay, I'm still not happy here. That's probably a bit better. I've got this dark mark in here I'm not a fan of, but I don't think you'll really notice it once I've finished. So, alright, let's move down to the greys. Just let me check any questions. Okay, cool. All good. So let's keep blending down here. Yeah, if you're not set up to draw, that's not a problem, because yeah, the replay will be up straight after this, and then I'll also today get the equipment list done of what I've used, so that might, you know, some people prefer that. Okay, let's go with a bit more grey. Don't have enough down there. It's not blending nice. This grey is really hard. I have no idea what brand it is, but it's not a great one. I pick the colours, like I just grab them from my box, and then once I start working, I then figure out it's not really the greatest because it's hard, but I'll just go with it. So I like soft pastels, like really soft ones. So that's why I like the schminkies. They're my favourite. But I know some people prefer a bit harder. Alright, I want this blended. So I don't want a sharp edge anywhere. So I'm just going to keep adding a bit of that cream. Get a nice soft blend happening between the grey. Actually, maybe if I blend with my finger, I'll get rid of that dark mark better. Once you've got enough pastel down on pastel mat, you'll find it blends with your fingers all right. But to start with, it's pretty impossible to blend with your fingers. You've got to get quite a bit of pastel down. Alright, so the main goal for this background is it's just got to be blurry and soft edges, because we want all the sharpness on this tree. Okay, and then up the top here we want, it's quite dark up here, so I've got, I think it's black. I was trying to find a really dark brown. But I think this might be black. It could be dark brown. Okay, so we'll put that up there and let's get some of this brown. Actually, even some of this brown sort of blended into it. I'm going to use a different sponge. I already have a dirty black sponge here, so I'm just going to use that. Okay, so I haven't got enough pastel down yet. But again, like I was saying with the bauble, I slowly build up. So I put a little bit down, push it in just gently with the sponge tool, and then go again. Now again, this is a really hard stick. So I find the softer sticks, softer branded sticks like the schminkies, just blend a lot nicer. But you can still get these harder ones to blend eventually. You just need a bit more time. Not sure what that is in that background, but I didn't mind that bit of dark there, so that's why I've kept it. Nope. Now I've made a right mess. That. But don't forget, if you're not a fan, if there's something in the background that you don't like, and you don't think it works with the picture, then of course you don't need to put it in. You can just have whatever you want in your background. But the main thing is just keep it blurry. sponge tool around. Let's go back a bit more of that brown. The brown, I feel, is a schminky. It definitely is light, nice and soft. Let's get a bit more cream happening here. Clean fingers. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so background done. So you can see it's all nice and soft and blurry. Oh, hi Marianne from the hospital, that's awesome. Okay, so background done. So now let's move on to the actual pine cone bit, because the hat is sitting above, like in front of it. So we work from the back and come forward. Okay, so I might try and zoom in a little bit now. Just on this little pine cone bit of the tree. Okay, now you could block in with a bit of black stick. I feel it's got a really dark green rather than black, but it's pretty small, so I'm thinking I might just do it in pencil. I don't want anything on the white bits. So I actually grabbed, which I haven't sharpened my pencils, isn't that terrible? I was thinking 595 with my black. So these are Carbothello pencils. Just let me put a bit of this down. So this is where I was thinking, rather than it be totally black, I was going to bring these two together to try and make a dark green. Okay, so I'm going to block in. So let's get our dark green, so the 595. And I'm going to block in. Right, everywhere that hasn't got the white on it. So I'm just going to work around these. Let's put it just there. Kind of lost my lines a little bit. So I'll get the whole of this done in the green. If you've got a really dark green, then you could put that in. Just let me, I'm trying to figure out where this one is. That's that one. Yep, that's dark in under here. Now the reason, if we put this dark underneath where we want it white, our white, we'd be able to get the white on there, because we're going to use a stick pastel, but it's always better to keep those areas that we want really white. It's best just to work straight on those, straight on the paper with those lights. It keeps them nice and bright then. But don't worry too much if you end up getting the dark on those white areas, because like I said, we'll be using our sticks to brighten those up, so it'll still go over the top without any trouble. Especially if you're using a soft, really soft stick. So essentially, just keep in mind, the softer the pastel, the brighter it will be. So that's why when I'm doing animal, sometimes if I get to the point and the paper's a bit clogged, you can just go back to using a stick. And it does work good then. What have we got here? That one. Oh, that's gone quiet now. My air conditioner's just turned itself off. Or it's having a break, maybe. So that's a lot quieter. Alright, all the way along here. I'm not too worried about direction at the moment. This is just an under colour. It would be a lot quicker if I just had a really dark green. Or, yeah, you could block in with a stick. Okay, now I'm going to come back over the top with black. I always work in layers until I sort of get the paper to a point that it starts to blend nicely. But in doing this bit here, we don't really need to worry too much about the blending of it. We just want to get the tooth of the paper covered. What is going on here? I think I've lost half of my lines because I'm just looking at this up here, and it actually comes out here dark. Oh, let's get that green down. So I think I went over it a bit with my background. So this one is just black, just 750 black. Also keep in mind, you might need to use, I'm just using this to rest my hand, but if you've got some glassine, that would be better. I just don't really want to put glassine over this because then you won't be able to see. I think it's better if you can sort of see the reference image as well. Oh, that aircon started again. I might turn it down if I can. So much quieter. There we go. So much quieter with it off. It's been actually really nice days here because it's been quite windy. Not ridiculously windy, but that cyclone coming in north of us is... you know, there's a bit overcast, not overcast, cloudy, and a nice breeze. So hopefully that's all we get of that. And maybe a little bit of rain would be nice, but we certainly don't want to flood. The last time we flooded really badly, when I lost a lot of my livestock, was that was from a cyclone that hit up north. And we got the bottom end of it, and it just sat over the top of us, the rain, and just didn't leave. And we got 500 millimeters of rain in pretty much 12 hours. But just north of us, which goes into our creeks around our property, they got 700 millimetres, so their 700 came down the creek on top of our 500 in the middle of the night. So we don't want that again. It's not a fun time. There's a touch of black out there too. Okay, you can see I still haven't filled the teeth of this paper up yet because I'm coming back on top with the green again. And you can just keep going back and forth until you've got your tooth filled up like enough that you're happy with it. I'll make sure I get kind of right out to the edge of my background there. Don't worry about any lighter areas you see in this dark there. We'll bring them in on top with our grey pencil. It's always relaxing doing draw-alongs for me because it gives me a chance to just sit and draw as well. So usually in the membership we do our draw-alongs on Zoom so we can all chat while we're drawing and everyone's following along, but so they can ask questions. I don't have to keep checking comments, but it's just such a fun way and it keeps you inspired, and even if that's all you do every month is just attend a draw along, it still gets you drawing. Okay, I might come back over with the green again. Try and really fill in some of this tooth a bit better now. Now the edges are quite sharp here, so we can get a sharp edge, so try and get your pencil fairly sharp, but you can see, I say that, but look at my pencils, they're terrible. But I quite often tone my pencils when I'm working, and that sort of gives me a point somewhere or other on it. Might not be a perfect point at the top, but there's usually some area that's got a sharp edge. But this one definitely is going to need sharpening. But I might manage to get this done with it. I'll use a knife to sharpen. I find it's the quickest for me. And I've got a lot of pencil sharpeners, and they're brilliant. The couple I've got a swordfish crank handle, which is very good, and I've got an AFMAT electric, which is also very good. But with Carbothellos, they're such a soft pencil that they're a bit, they break a lot. So I find just using the knife, I have way less breakage. And the knife, some people struggle with it, but the more you go with it and use it, the better you'll get at it, and you'll find it will also be your quickest way as well. And I always feel sharpening your pencils can be a bit therapeutic as well. I'm going to come back over with black in some areas. I'm really getting the last bit of this pencil. The only problem is if you let your pencil go as low as I am, you run the risk of scratching your paper if it gets to the wood of the pencil, so you do have to be very careful. Because if you scratch pastel matte, it's very hard to cover it. I have managed to with some soft sticks, but try and avoid scratching your paper is probably the easiest. Okay, let's come back to, oh my god, okay, I've got to sharpen that black, hold on. Christina, hi from soggy and hot Maui, Victoria. I heard you guys are having like a lot of heat down there. Isn't it funny? People quite often relate Queensland, where I am, to being the hottest state, but sometimes I'm pretty sure Victoria and the southern states there get it hotter sometimes. Like you get a few heat waves and that. We do occasionally, but it's not that often we go over 40 degrees. Usually we're, our temperatures doesn't change too much. I mean, it does a bit through winter, but, 30, 38, 39 is our really hot days, and then sort of lower 30s for the rest of summer. Yeah, it's not that often we go over 40. Alright, I'm just sort of bringing the black back in. I still want some of the green to shine through, but I'm just sort of filling up any bits of the tooth so I can still see, sharpen any edges. Now I've got a sharper pencil. And I think also I've been doing my strokes up and down, so that sort of goes with the direction of the tree as well, I suppose. Okay, let's get this bottom. Fairly sharp. We'll bring some little rocks in there at the end. Okay, now I want to look at where it's really more dark. The light's hitting from this side by the looks of it, because you can see some lighter areas in here. So I just want to make sure I do have this side quite dark. Just run that through, make sure everywhere on here is pretty black. Down there is really dark. Okay. Okay, so now let's look at these lighter marks. What have we got here? Alright, so what have I got? I've grabbed 724, which is a bit of a cool grey, but I'm just sort of looking at where I can see some little marks on this tree. I don't want them to stand out too much, so that's why I've sort of picked a grey. So I'm just going to run through and try and add some marks down here. And you can, I'm only being very, very light with it. But if you wanted a bit more to stand out, you can just push a bit harder. So it's sort of at the tops of each layer, sort of a bit lighter there. It's not really any up the top, then down here, sort of start about here and work. They're not straight by any means, so make sure you make them a bit wobbly. And they fade off. I mean, obviously this tree isn't real. It's looks like it's, I don't know, a plastic cast or something. So some of these are a bit brighter here. You could even use a bit of blue or something in there. Just something that stands out a bit against the black. But not too much. I've even got a dark purple here. I thought might be alright as well. I feel like I can see more blue down this end. There's not many marks on here, just a few. Let me get a blue maybe. Let's try this 425. Touch of blue in there. And then if you wanted some lighter areas, we could come in with a lighter grey with our 110. Little marks here and there, a few little ones under here. Alright, let's get our whites in. Actually, with this 110, do I want 110? Let me see. What are we going to use? Might actually use the 724. Just underneath there's going to be a bit of shadow in a couple of these, so let's just put a bit of shadow in. We can have the texture of the paper coming through, that's not a problem. I'm just going to go through, and anywhere I can see a bit of shadow in the white, I'm going to put a bit of this 724 grey. It's going to be in shadow under that hat. And then sort of underneath these little ones that stick out. That one done. That one there actually. Now I'm looking at it. Has black up in here. A little bit of shadow sort of in a few spots here. A little bit there. Okay, I'm going to now get, rather than my white pencil, I'm going to use a white stick, I think. Okay, as we don't get to 40 degrees often. Leanne, yeah, exactly. Yeah, even up in Cairns. Your temperature up there doesn't change much at all, does it? Year round. But yeah, 40 is hot. All right, I'm going to use the white stick. Now, this is a schminky. And I want it to look like snow, so I'm going to touch out here. So I'm going to sort of work around where I put those greys. Nope. I keep getting a really big hornet comes flying into this garage regularly to pay me a visit, and you just zoom past my head. It's a little bit under there, we can't really see it much. Okay. So anywhere that's really bright white, we're going to get that in. Just get rid of that. So we're doing this with our stick. Okay, so towards the top, because the bottom area is in shadow. Oh, I keep missing. If you make a mess like me, just bring your black pencil back in. It comes down a bit longer there. About this side. I always break my sticks. I should have kept it long so my hand's not in the way. I'll see if I've got a bit longer piece here. The first thing I do whenever I get pastel sticks is to break them, because I like them quite short to work with. And I'm using the light grey paper, so it's fine if a little bit of that is showing through. Got bits of stick everywhere. Oh, this hornet flying around, he keeps zooming past my head. I don't even know how they get in. You'll know if it stings me because I'll start screaming. Alright, up here. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way. Whenever I'm doing things like this with texture, I always imagine the shape, like to me snow would be small little dots sort of thing, so that's kind of how I'm putting it on. And that edge there. And right here. I think I need to extend my bottom bit out to meet that because it's a bit far out. So here's some bits there. Oh God, go away. Oh, that was right in my face then. Oh God. Things you have to work with being an artist. Okay, there's a little bit of snow along that edge there. And then up here. God, I feel like he's trying to build a nest next to me. Okay, so some of these little teeny dots are fine, they will sort of work with it. A little bit of mark there, a little bit down along the bottom here. Okay, I'm just looking at it. I think that looks all right. Let me zoom back out a bit. Okay, I'll check for comments again. 40 mil rain but 30 degrees. Oh, that's why it's so steamy. Okay, let's move on to his little hat. Okay, so you can see that snow effect is quite easy to achieve there. You just need to make sure you get your shadows in. Put a little bit more there. So as long as your shadows are in, then yeah, your lights will just sort of highlight those up a bit. Okay, sorry about moving this camera all over the place. All right, let's work on his hat next. Oh, thank you, Chloe. I think I'm going a bit quicker. Am I than last time? No, we're at an hour. And I'm not finished yet. Okay, so hat. Let's go. So with the lightest areas we want to, again, try and keep bright. So let's get some white. I've got some purple, got some blue. So first of all, we'll probably come back in with our white stick just to really brighten some areas, but let's just look at this first. So this is just marking in my lightest areas, okay, which is down this side. Hopefully you can see this against the light grey of the paper. So that's sort of the light area there. Okay, and then this edge of his little hat is light. We're gonna add some stick to these lighter areas as well, but I just sort of want to mark in where it's light on here. Then we might, I'd like to add, I've got this purple, it's 770. So you could add blue as well. We might put a bit of blue on top, but I'm just now going to very lightly, actually, my background needs to push up there a little bit. Oh, I'm making a mess. Okay. My background wasn't high enough. So, just want to try and fix it, but my sponge is so dirty. I could have just bought the bauble out, the little ball on his hat bigger to fix that, which is probably what I should have done. I don't have a clean finger. All right. Okay, so light, very lightly, a bit of purple in here. So I'm essentially, when I'm working light, I hold my pencil right at the end and try and just let the weight of the pencil be the pressure. It's a bit more over here. There's a bit of a crease there, so it's a bit darker on that side. And then under here, I've lost under here too. So under here is where the hat comes around. So that's quite purple under there. And same with this side. Okay, and I might bring, I've got this light blue 435. I might bring a bit of that in there over the top. So again, I'm just building up layers. That all over there. Okay, so I think I'm happy with where I've got sort of the darks. Now I might come back in with my white over the top. And blend that all sort of together. I'm just sort of doing circular marks, like strokes, just to blend. So this is my white from my Carbothellos. If you wanted a really bright white, sometimes I find the General's charcoal pencil is pretty good. Just trying to get that a bit of a softer. It's not quite a sharper line. I'm going to soften it a little bit. But not my computer. Hopefully the recording works for me. Still watching, but we'll draw later. Yeah, no problem, Di. The recording should work fine. You could maybe do it in creative play tomorrow. The beauty of pastel matte, you can just keep building up layers like this. If you were to do this, usually if you're working on a sanded paper and you put colours down and then try to blend over the top, they quite often just end up all smudging together. So that's why I kind of stick to pastel matte a lot of the time, just because I know how it works. And I think if you can master one, then it's then easier to try different things. Okay, I think this still needs to be a bit darker in here, so let's try a bit more purple. Did I give you the number of the purple? Probably not. It's 770. Or the blue. The blue is 435. And back with my white. Just soften those edges a little bit. And then let's get, I need to soften this edge a little bit in here. I have to go and sharpen this white up, I think. Let's see what's happening here. A bit lighter down here. Let's get our blue in here to blend with our purple. It's quite dark under there. Maybe a bit more blue in here. Just really trying to look at where shadows are. Let me get a sharpener again. Okay, so along here kind of has these little bits of fluff. Just got to be careful when you come across onto a dark. It brings dark back up into your work. So usually I've got to bring it down onto the dark and then wipe it. And we want these not all uniform, a little bit messy is fine. Okay, let's put a few out here. It's not many, but we can make it as fluffy as we want, really. It's more of a felt, I suppose. The hat, the little ball, the little ball on the end there will make a bit fluffier. If you wanted the detail, you know, it's got like little marks coming down this way. If you wanted to go to that trouble of putting those in, you could just put a hint of little pattern in there. It doesn't need much, like you don't have to do it at all if you don't want to, but yeah, just a little hint. But I'm not too fussed on it. Just trying to soften that. Okay, let's get our oh, it's stuck. Hold on. I have a mat under my chair and it has just lifted up and got me stuck. Okay. Now, just gonna try and make that nice and sharp there. We can sharpen edges up with our background by using the background if we want. Anyway. Okay, I want to bring my stick back in. That's what I was doing. I wanted to, where it's really light, so you can see your stick is lighter than your pencils. So I want to put light there, light along this edge. Okay, the other edge isn't very light. And then the little ball. And we can make that have a soft edge with our stick. And then we can then just soften this in here so it's sort of blends in. Still remains light. I'm just using my white pencil. I'm just very gently softening the edges. Like that. Okay, so that's the white bit done. Now let's do the red bit. Okay, so I've got, I need to sharpen a couple of these, but I grabbed, I also might need to add some brown yet, but to the red, but I've got a burgundy, it's 330, and I've got a bright red 310, and then I've got a pale, which is 680. So essentially they're my dark, medium and light, which is usually what I use everywhere, is the dark, medium and light. But I did grab this red as well, 311. Okay, so we've got 330, 310, 311 and 681. So we'll see how we go with those. We might not use all of them, but we'll see how we go. And then when we'll finish, then we'll do the bottom bit and we'll just neaten up the background a little bit, and then we'll be done. Okay, so just let me sharpen two of these. Okay. Yeah, the texture on the tree, I think that's what it's all about, Christina, is getting your textures pretty good. And it makes things look more real, doesn't it? Okay, so his little hat, we're gonna block it all in the red, the 310. I want to try and bring that edge right out. And what I might do as well, just so I don't lose this line, I might just get my burgundy and run it up that line just so I don't lose it. Okay, I'm not too concerned about the light area at the moment because we can bring white over this red to make it light, or I've got that pale pink. Just want to make sure I bring this right up to that background. Okay, and then we'll block it in. Again, you can see I'm not when I say blocking in, you can still see the paper through it. It's just the first layer. Okay, now I've got that down, I'm going to look at where it is lighter. And I'm going to use the 681. It's kind of got, comes up here. Comes down there through to a point. You can actually even do blue in there if you wanted. Okay, now I'm just going to bring that red back in. Some red in there, in between where that light is. I'm also going to put a few little dots there because it's not really smooth. It's like the hat is a bit furry. Okay, we can come back to that, but I know where my light and dark is there. Okay, so now I'm going to use my dark, so my burgundy, and sort of map in where I think it's darker. Just got this sort of dark a bit there. I think I'm definitely going to need to bring a brown in to darken this up some more. This burgundy's not really dark enough. That edge looks a bit darker. And sort of through here, I think it looks darker. And then kind of as it comes down to meet the white, it looks a touch darker. Right the way along that edge. Maybe a touch in there. Okay, let's bring our red back in. Oh no, actually I'm going to add brown. I wonder if I want brown or do I want... I've got this might work. Caput Mortem 640. So I'm just going to add that, I think, just in that area there. And then let's get our red that we initially put down. And let's start bringing that back in a little bit more pressure. And blending it into some of these darker areas. Have to bring that out a bit more. Trying to get rid of the tooth of the paper now. So keep in mind we want that light to be left up there. Okay, I might bring in that other red I pulled aside. First of all, let's just add some more of these light dots. I think I might add a bit of blue up in here. Or white, maybe. Okay, let's get this lighter one. So this was 311. Just going to see what it looks like, if it's any good. Just wanted to add a touch of it to this edge. And any other sort of lighter areas. Up through here. Okay, we could even, maybe orange might have been better added into that than that pink. Let's see what orange looks like. So the beauty is now I'm at a point that I could just keep blending and keep adding. Just little subtle hints of different colours in here if I wanted. Not sure about the orange either. Anyway, okay. Might fix up this edge a bit. It has a few little bits sticking out. And then up here we want to add, I'm going to add a touch of, I don't actually think it's blue. I think it is just that pink. Maybe it needs a bit of white in there. A few little brighter bits. Oh, that one's a bit bright. So I'm just going to add a few little touches with my white pencil. Okay. All right, let's zoom out. Oh. Sorry. I was trying to zoom on my phone and then realised that doesn't work with Facebook Live. All right, let's have a look at this background. Let's try and fix it up. Okay, well that's all right. Okay, now the bottom here, which will make this look a bit more grounded, we need to add some detail. So what have we got here? Really dark. Okay. Okay, because at the moment he just looks like he's floating. So what we want to do is we might use let's use white. Okay, we want some detail happening through here. So as it goes back is where it loses detail and starts to get a bit blurry. Okay, so we could use, like this is the grey we were using, 724. And just sort of have a few marks there, and then we can come in with our 110. And just put a few little marks in as well towards the front here. So I want these, they're still a bit blurry. Okay, don't need to go back too far. Okay, and then our white. I'm just gonna, these ones I want a bit sharper, just sort of around here. So they're like little pebbles everywhere. Okay, and then we're going to bring our black in. This is really blacking under here. Okay, it's definitely a bit darker over here. Just going to bring my white back in. Just have a few smaller ones. Okay, but that's given him a platform that he's sitting on now, rather than looked all blurry when it's, you have just the soft blurry all around, then it looks like it's floating. So you definitely need to make sure you have some sort of detail where it's sitting. Okay, and we can then just fix up any darks. Like it should be really dark under here, because you get a lot of pastel dust sometimes, so you can just go back over, make sure you've got your darks all nice and solid. I usually do that also with for doing an animal, in the pupil and that, anywhere you want really dark. Sometimes you've got to go back over, and even, you know, if you can't get it as dark as you really want it, you can then even get a stick. I don't know if you can notice this at all, but the sticks, again, just like how I was saying, white in a stick is the brightest, like white, the same with darks. The black in a stick is going to be darker than anything you've got. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And pushing those darks and lights is what makes things look more 3D and more real. Okay. So I think I'm pretty much done. Leonie, why not use dark purple? Why not use the dark purple you used in the white? I'm not sure where you mean. If you mean adding some dark purple down the bottom, yep, that would be awesome as well. Or you could put some blue, just add a bit of colour in there. Great idea, Christina. That looks really good with that bit of purple in there. So a bit like how I put a bit of green here and a bit of green there in the background. They sort of work with each other. So like the purple in the hat, putting a bit of purple down here works great. So good tip, Christina. Thanks for that. Yeah, so hopefully I'll just try and zoom in a bit more. Again, there's the hat. And then down the little tree. Like you could see, the tree wasn't that hard. Like once you get the dark in, then with pastel, the beauty is if you want to just add some really subtle marks, you can do that by going over the dark with a different colour. But just keep in mind, if you want it bright, you don't want to be going over dark. Okay. Yeah, oops, and they're the little dots I've just put down that has just sort of grounded it. Okay. All right, guys, I'll flip this camera back around just so you can see me again. Okay, hold on. Camera, there we go. Okay, cool. So that's number 2 done. That one, I don't know, my watch is flat. That one was a bit quicker. That was an hour and a half. Awesome. So next Tuesday is our last Christmas draw along, and it's of this little robin. So he shouldn't be too bad. We're going to use sticks and make him really fluffy, and then a bit of pencil for the detail. So probably same sort of time as this one. And then, like I said, these will all be available till the end of December for free. They'll be on YouTube, they'll be on my main Facebook page, and they'll be in my Facebook group, and then they all stay inside the membership for anyone who wants to join that. So the premium tier of the membership, the Creative Barn, that only opens about twice a year, so it won't be open again till probably end of January, I'm hoping. But the Essentials tier is open all the time, all year round, which all of these recordings are in. There's over 100 tutorials in there, and I've just opened up 6 months option it's only $90 US for 6 months access. So it's a recurring monthly fee, so or monthly or 6 monthly or yearly, whatever you want. It's like, just think of it as Netflix, but you have access to all the different tutorials inside there. So if you want to check it out, I did have the link in the comments here, and yeah, if you did want to purchase a subscription to the Essentials tier as a gift for Christmas, just let me know and I can make you up a gift card to send to whoever. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll get the equipment list sorted out today and post it up so you know exactly what colours I used. I do it as a colour swatch with the numbers of what I use, but then if you don't have carbothellos, you can match the colours that way. But it's also really good practice as well if you're a bit more advanced. If you're a beginner, just go with what colours I suggest. But if you're more advanced, then I would pick my own colours off the reference image, okay? Which the reference image and line art for all of these are inside the events. So if you just go to my main Facebook page, which you're probably watching this on, and go to the events, and the downloads are there. So, okay, if you have any questions or if you can't find something, just let me know and I will get back to you. All right, thanks for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you next Tuesday for our final draw along session. Okay, bye.